All right, we're going to jump into groups, organic groups. Groups are public or private areas for you, your site users, your staff, your board of directors, your subcommittees, your friends, what have you, to create groups to be able to share conversations, to share documents, and to join the conversation. Anyways, so groups can be public or private, meaning public groups, anybody can join. Private groups are by invite only. We've created one sample group, and you can see that it's a public group. There are 4 members. There's 2 posts, who the manager is. When it was created, a button to subscribe to the group. Read more because this is just a teaser of the information for the group. Groups will be displayed on this page as you create them. Public groups will always be shown to anybody. Private groups, unless you're a member, they will not show here. If you are a member of a group, then it will show all your groups in your My Groups tab on your own page. This demo is not a member of a group yet, but it will be there. They can also see on their group activity tab all the activity that's going on in their groups. What we're going to do is we're going to head back and let's just take a look at the actual sample group that we've created. There's a little bit more information on here. Each group has their own menu, and we'll get into managing the menu here in a minute. This is unique to this group. Every group does have a list of its member, the activity, the content, the calendar for the group, and then if you're an editor of the website or a manager of the group, you'll be able to manage the menu, but end users will not be able to see that. And again, much the same information that you saw in the other one. Up here, you actually have the group administration area. So first of all, we're going to subscribe to a group and just go through that process on what a person would do. They would create an account on the site. They would subscribe to the group, ask if you want to join. Sure do. And we're going to join. Now, by default, groups are set up to be public, but you can make them private by invite only, and we'll cover that here in a minute. So as you can see, we're now a member of the group. Right down here, you're now a member. We can see that there's a button from unsubscribe from the group. It changed to that. For a private group, again, the administrator would add it. They would receive an email once they're added to the system, and they'll be able to follow the link to be able to join in the conversation. So again, let's just take a look at the list of the members of the group. Much more detailed. You can search for individuals if you need to. And we have a breadcrumb here to go back to the group that we were just on. Let's just close these down here. You can see the activity, the content, the calendar, much in the same way. The activity, the content created by the group, because you have different group content types. We'll just set it up here, and I'll show you once again, create, and we have all these group content types. So this is the actual group itself, and then there's a group audio, group discussion, a group event, group news, group page, photo gallery, group video, and group web form. These are unique to groups only. They work in the same way as the other content types, but they are specific to these groups and only available in those groups themselves. And we can see that there's a calendar for the group itself. Let's close that down. And we can administer the group here. So we jump in and administer the actual group under the group tab. And we can see that we can add people in here. Let's jump in here. We can add a user. We choose them, and it will be an autocomplete. We can give them a role, administrator or moderator. If we leave it blank, they're just a member. We don't need to put in anything in the request message. Or we can send them a personal message when they get the email. We hit add user, and they'll get an email saying you've been added to the group. Come join the discussion here, that sort of thing. Let's head back, and we can take a look at the menu system for the group. Much like managing the site menus, you can manage the group menu. This is specific for this group. We can list links. And we can rearrange. So again, if you recall, um, the group menu system is much reflected here, and we can drag and drop and reorder. Oh, we don't want to make it a child item because there is no drop downs within this, so we'll be able to keep it a flat structure, and then just making sure that we save each time that we make those changes. So we'll just head back up, and we're just going to go to people, so we can see all the people that are within this group. And here we can do a little bit more. We have some advanced search options here. And we can edit these individuals, or we can do it on a larger scale. And we can modify their membership status, so whether or not they're active or inactive within the group. Give them a role. We can give them an administrator role, and we can also remove them from the group. And again, we're not deleting them from the website, we're just removing them from the group. And people can be members of multiple groups with a single account. Permissions. So the permissions are set up so that are pretty straightforward about what individuals can do. The permissions get pretty deep. There's going to be a whole separate tutorial on the permissions, but there are some default permissions here, and they can be changed and overridden per group. But as you can see, it's quite extensive, and be able to have a deep understanding of how these permissions work. We'll leave as is for now, but watch the organic groups permissions video tutorial. And then roles. Roles we're going to keep as is. There are 2 roles within each group. One is an administrator and one is a moderator. And we also have our member and non-member, and giving their permissions with that. And again, this is covered in an entire separate video tutorial on organic groups permissions. Okay, so let's head back to the group. And when we create content, users, when they join a group, they'll be able to go to the create button. Now, because we're an administrator, we can see all these extra things. But when you're just a member of a group, then you'll be able to see just group discussion, the group audio, group event news, group page, group photo gallery, group video, and web form are restricted to administrators of the site, but end users can create a discussion. So let's just create a discussion to see how this works out. We can choose which groups we'd like to put them into. So there's sample group. Now, because we're an administrator, we can choose other groups. We don't necessarily have to be members of that group. However, it's probably recommended that you keep one posting per group instead of a broad posting it through all groups. If you need to notify all users of the website, rather than going through groups, I suggest using the people administration area and doing your filtering and sending your emails that way instead of posting to all groups. Access, we're going to choose the default access. We can override it to public or private. By default, again, they're public. Body. So you can actually have a private group but with a public page. And again, everything else within the website, the WYSIWYGETTR is covered into another video tutorial, and all the stuff at the bottom here, the properties per content type, are also covered in a separate video. So all we're going to do is hit publish. And once it is published, then we can go back and see that there's some activity within the group. It also gives us a breadcrumb trail to go back. It gives the information about the author. So we can head back to sample group. You can see there's a recent activity. I just created a group discussion in sample group. So the activity is showing. And much in the same way, you can do that for the other content, create content, a group photo gallery, and go through that. So groups, members will move in and out within the groups. You're going to share documents, you can upload photos, what have you, much in the same way that you do the other content types. Again, listing of the groups on the group landing page. You can add all the groups here, and only the ones that are private that users are members of, they will be able to see, and then all the public groups will be seen. Thank you very much for watching.